Have you ever asked yourself why it's so easy to love others but so challenging to love yourself? We live in a world where it's natural to admire others, support friends, and care for those around us. But when it comes to ourselves, we can be tough. We expect too much of ourselves and ourselves alone. We speak to ourselves in a way that we would never allow in another person. Maybe no one has ever explained this to you in a way that you could understand. You are the most important person in your life, and that's not selfish or arrogant. It's the foundation of every relationship, every decision, and every moment of happiness. When you learn to love yourself, you improve your relationship with yourself and every aspect of your life becomes clear and strong. This book isn't just another self-help manual. You'll be happy to know that Esteem isn't full of clichés, empty or repeated phrases. It's a deeply transformative trip based on real techniques, practical strategies, and deep reflections that will change your way of seeing yourself and the world around you. You'll discover how to identify the hidden patterns that have prevented you from loving yourself fully, and you'll learn why you've been struggling with self-esteem for years. Esteem is full of real, practical strategies and deep reflections that will change your way of seeing yourself and the world around you. You will discover how to identify the hidden patterns that have prevented you from loving yourself fully. You will learn why you have looked without realizing that those habits subtract value from your life. We will explore together how to change the negative internal dialogue that limits your happiness and how to replace it with a loving and authentic language. This book is an invitation to discover the deep truth of loving yourself because you want it, not because you think you are better than anyone. It means deeply understanding that you deserve the best of life simply for existing. It means establishing healthy limits and making brave decisions. Hey, my friend, I want you to know that every day is a chance to show some love and joy to yourself. And from this very moment, you're about to embark on an incredible journey of self-discovery and self-love. You've always deserved to live your best life, and this book is your key to unlocking that potential. Get ready to embrace your true self with confidence and ease. This isn't just a book, it's a guide that will help you transform your relationship with yourself. Chapter 1, When did you last feel like you wanted you? This is a tough question, but it's one that I'm here to help you answer. We don't often stop to think about this, but it's important to remember that we're all works in progress. There might be moments when we're not fully embracing our true selves, when we're not quite sure who we are or what we're worth. It's natural to feel this way sometimes, especially during those early years when we're just starting to figure out who we are. Maybe there was a moment when someone compared you to your older brother or your smarter cousin, and you started to believe it. It's hard to know if it would ever be enough. Maybe something happened in that classroom where a teacher made a comment that stuck with you. Maybe from that day on, you started wondering if you were as smart as you could be or if you were valuable. Maybe it happened at home with your parents. They might have said something like, "You should be better," or "You should try harder." But they might not have realized that every time they said it, you thought, "What's wrong with me?" The truth is, nobody is born without self-esteem, dearest. No baby ever comes into this world questioning if they deserve love and attention. We're all born with a deep-down confidence in our existence. But sometimes, on our journey through life, we might lose sight of that certainty. We might start to doubt our own value, beauty, and ability to be happy. That little seed of doubt can grow quietly inside us, becoming a tree that's almost impossible to see, but its roots are deep and strong. Every baby is born with a confidence in their existence. But sometimes, something happens on the path that makes us doubt our own value, beauty, and ability to be happy. That doubt can be like a little seed, quietly taking root and growing into a big tree that affects every part of our lives. We might not see it right away, but this tree influences the decisions we make every day, the relationships we have with others, how we let others treat us, and even the things we decide to go after or leave behind. It's important to remember that even if we don't remember the exact day we started questioning ourselves, the most important thing is to realize that we're all beautiful and valuable people. What happened? Because only when you are aware of what's holding you back from loving yourself, can you start to make changes. Have you ever noticed how you react when someone makes you feel fulfilled instead of being grateful for it? You discard it quickly, thinking it's not worth it. This isn't modesty, it's a sign that at some point, you decided, "Hey, I totally get it." We've all been there. You put up with a lot, whether it's being in situations you're not comfortable with, toxic relationships, or jobs you don't really like. You might not have said it out loud, but it's like you're telling yourself you can't get something better because you're used to the struggle. Or maybe you're just not sure. But, putting up with a lot of abuse or feeling like you're just okay, instead of being your best self, can be a sign that you've stopped believing that you deserve more. And that's totally okay. It's okay to feel like you don't deserve anything good in your life. We've all been there. You might have put up with a lot of uncomfortable situations, toxic relationships, or jobs you don't like because you thought you couldn't get anything better. Maybe you never told yourself this, but it's a sign that you're not giving yourself enough love. Self-esteem can be tricky. It can show up in small ways that you might not even notice. Over time, it can make you feel like you don't deserve a good relationship or a good life. The hardest part is that if no one has taught you to recognize these signs, you might not even know they are there. You might feel stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction for years or even decades without knowing why. The problem isn't really outside, though. It's inside, in that moment in your past when you stopped loving yourself without even realizing it. It's easy to believe that you don't deserve anything more, but you're not wrong. The good news is that you can change that thought. You can unlearn the decision to not love yourself. Your mind has the incredible power to reinvent itself and change its beliefs. It can replace negative thoughts with positive ones. And that is precisely what you will do on this trip. You have an opportunity to start now. You can rewrite your relationship with yourself, connect with that version of you who once instinctively knew that he was worthy of love, respect, and happiness. Remember, sometimes you'll discover uncomfortable things about yourself and difficult moments, but in that process, you'll discover something even more important than loving yourself. You don't have to wait for yourself to be perfect. You just need to recognize your complete humanity, embrace it, accept it, and value it deeply. This book doesn't just tell you that you are enough, it makes you understand why you are, because you are without conditions, without fear, and without a "hey, I just wanted to ask you a question." When was the last time you stopped loving yourself? And even more importantly, what if you decided today to start loving yourself again? Because when you do, it'll totally change your whole life. Imagine you have an invisible tenant in your head. Today, take a moment to ask yourself what would happen if you were to embrace your true self. Imagine having an inner guide, a kind and supportive friend, always there to cheer you on. This friend, known as Ramiro, might offer suggestions, but he's not there to judge. He's just there to support you in every aspect of your life, from your style choices to your way of speaking. Sometimes, this inner dialogue can feel a bit intense, but that's just Ramiro being Ramiro. Imagine having this support system in your life, always there to help you grow and thrive. Don't try to fail. Double quote. And although it seems incredible, many of us live entire years sharing mental apartment with a Ramiro without even giving us a thought. The problem with Ramiro is that he doesn't contribute anything positive. On top of it, don't worry about failing. We've all spent years living with a Ramiro, our mental roommate, without even realizing it. The tricky thing about Ramiro is that he doesn't add anything positive to the mix. He's like that friend who's always bringing negativity, and there's no way to ask him to leave. The good news is that Ramiro will go by himself. But the best part is that you have the power to kick him out whenever you want. So why is it so hard to break free from this pesky roommate? It might feel like your voice is getting mixed up with Ramiro's, and you might even think, Ramiro, you are a kind and thoughtful person, and today you're going to learn an incredibly powerful psychological trick. You're not the voice of criticism, you're the one who listens to it. Once you understand this, you'll regain your power to decide what to believe and what to discard. You've been taught that loving yourself is easy and simple, that repeating positive statements is all you need to do. But the reality is that self-love is more complex than that. Love doesn't work that way, my friend. You can look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love me, even if Ramiro keeps telling you that you're not enough. It would be like trying to cover a wall full of cracks with a layer of paint. While a brilliant layer of paint might work at first, the cracks are still there, waiting to reappear. A friend named Clara recently shared with me something that exemplifies perfect me. In this clear dilemma, after years of trying to learn to love each other, reading self-help books, and help books, attending motivational conferences, and filling your home with positive phrases can be really helpful, but sometimes we need a little more than that. If you're feeling frustrated, It's okay to try something new. One person decided to pay attention to their inner critic and noticed some interesting things during a week. By the end of those 7 days, Clara had a notebook full of criticisms and comments that he would never dare say to his worst enemy. Then, he did something even more radical. He read out loud comments against your best friend. He could barely finish the first phrase before her friend stopped him, dry and indignantly saying, "Who, in the world, would dare to talk to you like this?" Clara understood something deeply revealing at the time. The only person capable of hurting her was herself. Through that internal voice that allowed camping, she also understood that the first step to learning to love oneself was to repeat positive phrases. She confronted Ramiro directly, questioned his validity, and replaced his attacks with conscious, realistic, and compassionate statements. Because true self-love is such a beautiful thing. It's not about forcing yourself to believe something you don't feel in your heart. It's about having the courage to face your inner critic, to question your thoughts, and to choose the thoughts you want to align your life. Society, family, and even social media can have a powerful influence on us. We are constantly being bombarded with standards, unrealistic ideals, and absurd expectations about how we should look and act and how we should achieve to be worthy of love or recognition. But we rarely teach ourselves to question these messages or to choose which ones we want to accept in our lives. I'm curious, have you ever noticed how our background glorifies culture and self-image? Have you ever thought about how our culture is all about taking care of ourselves? The way we're taught to prioritize ourselves can sometimes feel a bit selfish, and it's easy to get caught up in wanting the best for ourselves. But here's the thing, if you don't learn to love yourself, it's going to be really hard to truly care about someone else. Only when you're at your best can you truly give back to the world. So, the next time you're feeling a bit inadequate, just picture yourself as your best friend. What would you tell someone going through a tough time if you knew they were right there with you? Hey, I know it can be hard to say, but try to be kind to yourself. If you're judging yourself, you might end up feeling guilty and upset. But if you talk to yourself with love and understanding, offering support and patience, you'll probably feel so much better. So why not try that with yourself? Learning to treat yourself as you would treat someone you love is a really powerful thing to do. It's like breaking free from years of habits, culture, and family influences. You get to decide how you want to live and relate to yourself. So, be kind to yourself, my friend. Love is such a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's not something you achieve, it's a constant relationship with yourself that you nurture every day through decisions, conscious small acts, and internal conversation full of kindness and respect. Have you ever had those moments where you realize you've been tolerating an inner Ramiro that doesn't respect you? If so, I want to congratulate you. If you're feeling like you're not living up to your full potential, it might be time to make some changes. Remember, love is always within reach, and you deserve to feel your best. Start by letting go of the beliefs that hold you back and trusting yourself to make the right decisions. From this moment on, you're in charge of your own life. If you're ready to embrace this journey, I'm right with you. You've come a long way, and I'm so proud of you. It's a big step to realize that you deserve better, and you've done it. You've recognized that there's something inside you that needs love and attention, and you're ready to show it to yourself. You're here to make a change, and that's a beautiful thing. But how do you actually make that happen? How do you start a new relationship with yourself that's more genuine, healthier, and more authentic? The answer is simpler than you think, but it does require some attention and care. First, you need to understand that there's something really special about how your mind works. Your brain is like a non-stop storyteller, always telling you stories and making sense of the world around you. It's wired to look for meaning in everything that happens. But here's the thing, the stories we tell ourselves aren't always true. They are just our interpretations, often influenced by things others told us when we were younger. We might not have questioned those beliefs back then, but we have the power to change now. You can choose the stories you believe about yourself and your life. About your life and all that it entails, you know. I'm here to tell you that when you start choosing stories that are more friendly, more lovely, more compassionate, you will see how your perception of the whole world begins to change. For example, the next time Ramiro, that internal critic we have mentioned, tries to tell you that you can't do something, just stop and watch what you are telling yourself. Then, ask yourself with absolute honesty, Is this really true? Or is it simply a story that I have repeated so many times that I have accepted it as truth? If the answer is that it is not true, you have the powerful opportunity to replace that story with a new, more constructive, and positive one. Instead of telling you, I am unable to achieve this, would you mind saying the following with me? I can try it. I can improve. It may seem small, but it's a deep transformation. Each change you make is like paving a new road in your brain, creating new pathways of love and self-care. Remember, we can only give what we have within ourselves. You have the power to truly support others with genuine, authentic love. It may seem small, but it's a big change. With each change, you're building a new pathway in your brain, literally reprogramming yourself to love more. We can't give what we don't have within us. You can offer true love, support, and genuine happiness to your loved ones and the world. But first, you have to live those states deeply in your heart. Imagine trying to fill water glasses from an empty jug. It's impossible. First, you have to fill your own jug, take care of yourself, and give yourself the love you deserve. Only then will you have enough to offer it generously to others. Dear friend, you are a beacon of joy and love in this world. You don't have to look far to find it. Imagine trying to fill water glasses from an empty jug. It's impossible. First, you must fill your own jug to nourish and love yourself. Only then can you offer it generously to others. It's time to realize something deeply revealing: love yourself. It's not a superficial act. It's not a fleeting feeling. It's an act of generosity towards the whole world. When you are well with yourself, you become a better version for your children, your partner, your friends, your colleagues, and every person in your life. It's important to realize that loving yourself isn't just about feeling good. When you're at peace with yourself, it's like you're giving a gift to everyone around you. You become more patient and more inspiring. You're like a ray of sunshine, spreading joy and a sense of genuine peace that comes from truly loving someone. This book won't promise you magic or overnight solutions. But it will give you something much more valuable. This book doesn't promise you any quick fixes or magic solutions. Instead, it gently guides you on a clear and conscious path towards your own inner transformation. It offers you the real and tangible possibility of living a different life, a life where you finally find peace within yourself, where you consciously choose to take care of and love the most important person in your life. Life may present you with difficult times, old habits, doubts, or fears, but remember, loving is never easy or automatic. Loving requires courage, patience, and a daily commitment. The same is true for loving yourself. It requires your constant decision to treat yourself well, especially when you're going through tough times. From now on, let's all try to remember that in each little daily act, we're asking ourselves what a person who really loves and respects would do. Deep down, we all know our own value. At first, you might need to remind yourself of this, but soon you'll see how this simple practice becomes second nature. Imagine a life in which you wake up every morning and feel at peace with yourself. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of contentment and self-assurance, knowing that you are worthy of respect and love. Picture how your relationships will evolve, your friends will deepen, and your family bonds will strengthen when you learn to cherish and acknowledge yourself the way you used to look to others. Love is not a destiny, but a way of living, a constant practice. Today, here and now, you are taking the most important decision of your life. Live every day from a deep and authentic respect for yourself. Breathe deeply, smile slightly, and prepare yourself for the wonderful journey that starts today, because finally, after you have found the way for so long, it will take you back to you. Welcome home, Chapter 2, The Art of Treating You Well. Have you ever thought about how you talk to the people who mean the most to you? When a friend is going through a tough time, you probably don't think twice about offering them words of encouragement, support, and affection. You know how to choose phrases that make them feel better and motivate them. But when you're talking to yourself, something changes. The tone becomes harder, more demanding, and sometimes even cruel. This doesn't happen by accident. Our whole lives, we've been taught to take care of others, but we rarely learn how to take care of ourselves. He explained that the way we speak to ourselves affects us deeply. We understand that it's hard to feel good about our decisions and even our physical health. But there's something you can do that can make a big difference: learn to speak your mind. Let me tell you about Julia. She was a smart, successful woman, but she was also having a hard time with herself. Julia was a creative and talented person since she was a child, and she had a lot of dreams. We all know how important it is to feel good in our bodies, and that's why we should all be talking more mindfully. I want to tell you the story of Julia, a brilliant and successful woman in many senses, but trapped in a very complicated relationship with herself. Julia was a creative, talented, and full of dreams person since childhood. However, despite everything good that she managed to feel, she always felt something was missing. It was as if there was something not sufficiently good. One day, tired of that frustration, she decided to go to a therapist to look for answers. In the first session, the therapist asked her to do something simple and powerful: observe herself for a week and write down how she talks to herself and writes. Julia thought it would be an easy task, but soon realized the surprising number of times she had spoken harshly during the day, from the morning in front of the mirror. Phrases like "I'm fatal today" or "I have a pain terrible" to errors more small where he was clumsy or unable showed up at the end of the week, and pages were full of severe criticism directed exclusively towards itself. In the next session, the therapist asked for something even more revealing: to read those same phrases aloud, imagining that I was telling her best friend, Julia. It was hard to do each phrase. I felt like a dagger was piercing my heart, and I understood something deeply important. I thought, ever would thus treat someone who will love truth? So why did he do it to itself? Current science has an answer clear for this. Our brains are naturally drawn to the negative because that's how our ancestors survived. We are hardwired to spot dangers and threats, and that tendency hasn't really changed over time. But here's the good news: science is showing us that our brains can be changed. They can be reprogrammed to think differently. Julia understood this. She knew she had to change the way she spoke to herself if she wanted to change her life. Her therapist explained that every word we say is like a little seed, and each one grows a unique pattern in our brain. When we repeatedly think about the same negative thoughts, our brain gets used to the pattern. But we can also make a different kind of pattern, a positive one, by using kind, conscious words and being compassionate. Julia started a really powerful process. Every time she noticed a negative thought or criticism, she stopped for a second and thoughtfully said, "This is not true. What I need is to listen to this moment with more compassion." Then he kindly thought, "I am learning. I am improving. I am doing well." At first, it seemed like he was forcing himself, but little by little, he started noticing deep changes in his daily emotional state. He began to feel safer, calmer, and less anxious. He stopped sabotaging projects that were important because he was finally able to understand that he deserved the good things that happened to him. And maybe the most important thing of all was that he began to feel a deep and authentic joy for being who he was. You might think this sounds too simple to work, but let me explain something essential about the human mind. Your brain believes deeply what you say with frequency, and it doesn't question. No matter what, just take it in your stride and be kind to yourself. If you find yourself saying over and over that you're clumsy or not good enough, your brain might start to believe it. But if you choose to believe that you're worthy of love, respect, and opportunities, your brain will start to see it as true. Here's a helpful tip: try repeating to yourself that you're a valuable person. Today, let's start by treating ourselves well. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself in everyday situations. You don't need to write everything down like Julia did, but it's important to be aware of your thoughts. If you catch yourself thinking negatively, pause and ask yourself, would I tell this to someone I love? For the next few days, pay attention to your inner voice. You don't need to write down everything you think, like Julia did, but it's important to be aware of your thoughts. If you catch yourself thinking negatively, pause and ask yourself, would I tell this to someone I love? If the answer is no, then gently change your thought. It might seem simple, but this practice, when done regularly and with care, can make a huge difference in how you see yourself and how you connect with the world. The way you talk reflects the way you treat yourself, and the way you treat yourself shapes the quality of your life. So, start today, not tomorrow. The week ahead is all about treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would give to your loved ones. It's a journey of self-discovery and acceptance, realizing that you are the most important person in your life and deserving of love and care. With this newfound understanding, you have the incredible power to transform the way you treat yourself. This is a chance to address those obstacles that sometimes get in the way of our self-love journey. I really enjoy learning to set clear and healthy boundaries. I don't mean to blame a man from a few years ago, Andres, whose life seemed like something out of a movie. Andres was the good guy, the friend everyone came to when they had a problem. He was the first to move on and the last to. He was always the first to offer help, even if it meant working overtime, and he was always willing to go the extra mile. Andres was a kind and generous person, always wanting to please others and accept their behavior. However, he had a hard time setting boundaries because he thought it meant being selfish. I can't. Andres was a kind and a giving person. He was always saying yes to overtime, even when he didn't want to, and he put others' needs before his own. He felt like setting boundaries was selfish, and he didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. He was so busy that he didn't even want to attend meetings that took up his time. He was also in toxic relationships because he was afraid of hurting others' feelings. One day, he even took care of his neighbor's 3 cats for a whole month, even though he was allergic. I just don't want to accumulate so many commitments that I can't keep up with them. I don't want to attend meetings that take up my time. I don't want to maintain toxic relationships out of fear of hurting others' feelings. I don't want to take care of my neighbor's 3 cats for a whole month, even though I'm allergic. I ended up in the emergency room with a swollen face and sneezing. I was lying on a stretcher with a red nose and irritated eyes. He understood something crucial, his inability to set limits. He was destroying it, literally. Andres's lesson is clear: every time you say yes when you mean you're not telling the truth, you're not being honest with yourself. He ended up in the room of swollen emergencies and sneezing. He was lying on a stretcher with his red nose and irritated eyes. He understood something crucial, his inability to set limits. Literally, Andres's lesson is clear. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you reinforce the idea that other people's needs matter more than your own. Every time you accept something because you feel committed or guilty, you're making it less important that your own needs are met. Little by little, this can erode a relationship with yourself. It's so important to set limits for yourself. Hey, just remember that being is less important than other people. When you take on commitments or feel guilty, it can make you feel like your needs don't matter as much. This can slowly damage your relationship with yourself. It's like saying, love is like air, you can't see it, but you need it to breathe. If you don't respect and value yourself, you're not going to take care of your most precious gifts, your time, energy, and emotional well-being. But why do we have such a hard time putting limits on things? Why do we feel so guilty about it? A lot of this comes from cultural beliefs and very social norms that we've been taught since we were kids. We've been taught to please others, to be loved and accepted. We learn to sacrifice our personal needs for the needs of others. I know it can be tough to avoid conflicts, be friendly, or simply find the right balance. It's like trying to please everyone, and it's exhausting and unsustainable in the long run. But here's the good news: you can learn to set clear limits without damaging your relationships and without feeling guilty. You can learn to say no in a friendly way, but firm. The people who really value you and respect you will appreciate it. Here's a simple technique you can use. It's so important to start by clearly defining limits from the very beginning. The non-friendly but clear technique of practicing mental clarity before committing to something can take some time. Take a moment to ask yourself, honestly, do I want or can I do this? If the answer is no, try justifying your internal response. Then, with kindness, acknowledge that you didn't. Great explanations or justifications aren't necessary. A simple expression of appreciation that you have thought of me, but this time not, is all you need. I can do it, and that's really all that matters. I know it's hard to let go of the idea that you're rejecting the other person, but you're actually caring for yourself. This is so important for keeping relationships healthy. It might feel strange at first, but you're doing great. Just be patient with yourself. Every time you set a clear limit, you're sending a powerful message to your mind. It's so important to feel respected, isn't it? After Andres's adventure, he started practicing a technique that wasn't very friendly. But, you know, the first time he tried it, he almost had an attack. Still, he did it, and, to his surprise, his neighbor simply smiled and said, "Of course, I understand perfectly." He learned that setting boundaries doesn't destroy relationships, it strengthens them. When you value yourself, You inspire others to value you. This curiosity about setting boundaries not only enhances your emotional well-being but also boosts your energy and creativity by liberating you from commitments you don't want to take on. You'll find more time and mental space for what truly matters to you. You'll become more genuine, more vocal, and, surprisingly, more capable of helping others because your help comes from a place of sincerity, not from feeling obligated. Today, I invite you to reflect on something very important. What limits do you need to put in your life that you have not yet put in place? What situations do you need to review? Most importantly, what false beliefs need to be released so you can start taking care of and respecting yourself? Remember, you came to this world to live an authentic and loving life, starting with the love that you have for yourself right here and now. Now is a great time to remember that you are already asking how to transform yourself. You know, I've been thinking a lot about love lately, and I've come to the conclusion that it's important to love in something real, tangible, and everyday. I know we all love a good theory here and there, or an inspiring word here and there, and those love languages are great and all, but what we really need is something that's fundamental for our emotional well-being. Have you ever thought about self-pity? I know it doesn't have anything to do with feeling sorry for yourself, being self-centered, or justifying negative behaviors, but it's a part of love, too. So let's not beat around the bush here. Let's just say, I'm like that. Self-pity is a tricky concept. It's not the same as feeling sorry for yourself or justifying negative behaviors. It's important to understand that self-pity can hold us back from living our best lives. Pity is all about showing yourself the same kindness, understanding, and support that you would give to someone you really love. It's a kind gesture towards yourself, especially during those moments when you need support the most. Imagine that instead of being hard on yourself when you make a mistake, you take a moment to say, "This is okay. It's normal to mess up. I don't have to be perfect, but I can learn and move on." This attitude doesn't just make you feel better in the moment, it also helps you learn and grow more quickly and smoothly. A study in neuroscience confirmed that people who practice self-pity tend to advance more calmly and safely in 2020. It's totally normal to feel down sometimes, and there's no shame in it. But did you know that feeling sorry for yourself can actually make you stronger and happier in the long run? It's true. Emotional resilience, better relationships, and less stress are all possible. It might sound strange, but self-pity can actually be good for you. Here are some simple ways you can try it out today. Try the dialogue technique. Be more compassionate. Take a moment to pause and breathe deeply. Talk to yourself like you would to a good friend who's going through a tough time. Hey, just remember that you deserve that same understanding and kindness. Another really powerful technique is the letter of self-pity. If you're going through a tough time or messed up, write a letter to yourself. Imagine you're speaking to your best friend, and let your heartfelt words of support, courage, and forgiveness flow. Then, read it out loud to yourself. You'll be amazed at how quickly you start to feel better. Why does this work? Because your mind doesn't really see the difference between what you're saying to yourself and what's coming out of your mouth. When you talk kindly to yourself and show yourself some love instead of being too hard on yourself, your brain releases positive chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. So, every time you say something nice to yourself, you're literally making your body feel good. I'd like to share a story with you that I think will help you understand the power of self-pity. It's about a young professional who was really struggling with her need to be perfect. Every little mistake she made, whether at work or in her personal life, would cause her great anxiety. She'd stay up all night, feeling exhausted and like she never measured up. So, she decided to try something new for a week. Every time she made a mistake, she'd pause and say something kind to herself, like, "This is just a mistake. You're human, and you have the right to make a mistake, learn from it, and keep going." After just 1 month, it was clear that his anxiety decreased considerably. He improved his performance at work and became happier, more relaxed, and more at ease. Everything changed when it started to speak. How would I do it with someone I loved? This transformation was really not a miracle or a coincidence. It was simply the natural result of being treated with respect and compassion. Because this is what happens when you decide to practice self-care. After just 1 month, it was clear that his anxiety decreased significantly. His performance at work improved, and he became happier, more relaxed, and more at ease. Everything changed when it started to speak. How would I do it with someone I loved? This transformation was really not a miracle or a coincidence. It was simply the natural result of being treated with respect and compassion. Because this is what happens when you decide to practice self-pity daily. You start to feel an internal calm that few experience, tranquility, genuine, that comes from knowing what happens. What happens, you will always be on your side, supporting you and accepting you unconditionally. Perhaps the most important of all is to understand this: your relationship with yourself is the longest. What will you have in your entire you are worth so much to yourself, and you've got your whole life to build that special relationship with. You'll be spending every day, every moment, of your life with you, and you'll be the only one you'll ever have. You'll have a bond with no one else on this planet. It'll be the most important relationship you'll ever have, and it'll be the one you'll want to put all your time and energy into. You'll want to make sure you're taking care of yourself every day, giving yourself all the love and support you need, especially when times get tough. Existence, you're in this together with your loved one, and you'll be sharing so many moments, memories, and experiences. This bond is unique and special, and it's something you should cherish. Give yourself the love and care you deserve, especially during those times when you might feel like you're not enough. Make the choice to treat yourself well every day, to be kind to yourself, and to celebrate the little victories in life. Your partner is there for you, cheering you on, and helping you grow. When you start loving yourself, you'll start to see the world in a new and exciting way. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love. You just need to be your authentic self, with all your virtues and imperfections, all your successes and lessons. You have everything you need to start the best relationship of your life with yourself. So take a deep breath, smile peacefully, and take that first step towards true love. You deserve it. Love in action. We live in a world that constantly tells us that getting first is selfish. We grew up believing that we had to sacrifice our dreams, time, and energy for others to be happy. How many times have you heard that a good person is the one who renounces their own wishes to fulfill others? Probably too many. But read on, my friend, because the true revolution begins the day you understand your vital, physical, mental, and emotional well-being. I know it can be hard, but try to make being your absolute priority. I am sure you don't see it as selfish, but as a responsibility. I know it seems contradictory, but I promise you'll be able to deliver the best you have to the people you love when you're truly well with yourself. Just think about it. What if oxygen masks fell from above in an emergency on a plane? I am sure you've been in a situation where you've seen people putting on oxygen masks on a plane. The instructions are very clear: first, put on your mask, and then help the others. Have you ever asked yourself why? Well, it's because you can't breathe. And you'll find that you won't be able to help anyone else. It's the same in life. If you don't take care of yourself and respect your needs, sooner or later, you'll feel empty. You won't have any energy to give. I invite you to imagine your life as a garden. Think of every decision you make as a seed that you plant. You're constantly planting seeds. You're planting seeds of automation, stress, and anxiety. What will you reap later if you don't take care of yourself? Taking care of your basic needs is so important, and so is getting enough rest. If you're not making time for the things you really love, you might want to think about making some changes. What kind of life are you building, and what can you offer to the people you love? It's important to set clear and healthy limits. This isn't just a psychological technique, it's a deep and radical expression of respect towards yourself. Every time you say no to something you don't want to do, you're showing yourself some love. It's always a good idea to put your well-being first. And when you do, you're planting the seeds of self-esteem and self-value that will help you grow and thrive. When you nourish your inner self with love and care, you're nurturing a beautiful garden within, allowing it to flourish in harmony and balance. Let me share with you the story of Pedro. For many years, Pedro took on the role of the savior, always ready to step in and resolve conflicts or handle emergencies. He believed in the importance of being available to others at all times. But, deep down, I felt a growing sense of exhaustion and frustration. One day, his body finally couldn't keep up, and he fell ill. After recovering, he realized that you can only live up to the expectations of others if you're healthy. Pedro had a really important moment when he came back home. For the first time in years, he decided to set clear and firm limits. He learned to do this in a way that felt natural at first, and then more confident over time. Some people were a little surprised or uncomfortable at first, since they were used to having him around all the time. But Pedro found something really interesting. The people who really loved him started to deeply respect his limits. Not only that, but the relationships that were there became stronger and more genuine. The people who only loved him for convenience slowly disappeared. This is the beautiful thing that happens when you decide to honor yourself by establishing clear limits. People who really value you understand, respect, and celebrate your growth. Those who don't, well, they just reveal that they were never there for the right reasons. But to set firm and clear limits in your life, you've got to start with a deep honesty exercise. Ask yourself what you want to accept, what you deserve, what you're willing to tolerate, and what you're not. Then, commit to acting according to those answers. I know it might feel scary or uncomfortable at first, but I've got a little technique that I'd love to share with you. You have the power to make a big change in the way you set limits. From today on, try to respond to someone who asks you something in a little bit of time. Take a deep breath and count to 5 in your head. Ask yourself what you really want to do. Am I acting from a place of respect for myself, or am I saying yes out of guilt or out of a sense of commitment? If you decide that you want to simply answer in a kind way, "Thanks for thinking about me," then let me reassure you that this time, I will not be able to. It's okay if you feel any discomfort. You might feel a bit of guilt or fear of disappointing others, but I promise you that with each "non," you are so honest and brave, Des. You are building your personal respect and love for yourself, and that feeling of freedom, calm, and authenticity. It's so worth it. Remember this every day: setting clear limits is the best way to teach the world how you deserve to be treated. Treat each limit you set and each decision you make with respect for your emotional and physical well-being. You are so strong and brave, Des. You are showing your personal respect and love for yourself, and that feeling of freedom, calm, and authenticity. It's so good to see you experiencing all of that. It's the best kind of reward. Remember this every day: setting clear limits is the best way to show the world how you deserve to be treated. Be kind to yourself and respect your emotional and physical well-being in every decision you make. Being is a powerful message, and it shows clear respect. It makes me feel deeply. If you want to be in my life, you must do it. This is also true for you. Self-love is such a powerful thing, and it's something I really believe in. If you want to be in my life, I'd love to see you practice it. Love is something we can all do, and it's something I try to live by every day. It's something that can help you in every part of your life. Every time you decide to put yourself first, to not let fear or blame control you, you're taking a step towards a better life. It's amazing what you'll discover when you do that. You'll become a better person, and you'll be able to give more and better love to the people around you. You deserve to feel full and satisfied in your relationships. Today is the perfect day to start living your best life, because you deserve to be treated with the respect and love you always wanted. You deserve healthy relationships and to be your true self. So take action today and start your most important personal revolution. Love is all about being honest with yourself and your partner, and being brave enough to stick with it. It's not just a pretty idea or a cool thing to post on social media. It's something real, something you can feel in your heart every day. Now that you've learned how important it is to talk things through and set clear boundaries, let's talk about something that's often overlooked but super important for your overall well-being. Hey, have you ever heard of emotional congruence? It's all about being in sync with your emotions. Instead of just saying what you think or feel, try to really connect with your true feelings. Pay attention to them, acknowledge them, and act accordingly. A lot of people think emotional intelligence is just about staying calm or not reacting impulsively, but it's so much more than that. Emotional intelligence, in its purest form, is about really listening to what you're feeling and acting from a place of complete honesty with yourself. I want to tell you a little bit about Eleanor, a truly inspiring person. He was a talented man. He was 45 when he realized that he had spent much of his life avoiding feeling. For years, he ignored the tiredness in his body, repressed his frustration at work, and pretended that everything was fine when he clearly wasn't. He believed that keeping up appearances was a sign of strength and maturity. But one day, in the middle of an important meeting, Eleanor broke down in tears in front of their colleagues. It was uncomfortable, yes, but it was also a deeply revealing moment. Eleanor understood something vital: when you are not emotionally congruent and when you ignore what you feel for. We've all been there. We've all felt that fear of being judged or rejected. It's natural to feel stressed, anxious, or physically unwell from time to time. It's hard to ignore what we feel. But how can we practice emotional congruence if we don't even allow ourselves to feel? It seems simple, but in our society, expressing emotions is often seen as a sign of weakness. Letting ourselves feel is a revolutionary act. If you're sad, recognize your sadness and allow yourself to feel it, knowing that it's not permanent. Hey, if you're feeling afraid, just pause for a second and ask yourself, where does this fear come from, and what do I need to do to feel better? Try not to fight or run away from it. Just be curious and open about it. And when you're ready, it's okay to speak up about your feelings. You don't have to let everyone in on everything, but it's good to find a way to express what you're going through. Instead of bottling things up, try saying something like, "This bothers me, and I'd like to work through it together." When you do this, you're being true to yourself and being honest with the people around you. How do you want to be treated? If you're in third place, you're making decisions that match your real emotions, not those of other people or external pressures. Before you accept a job, start a relationship, or do something new, ask yourself, what am I about to do that aligns with my desires and authentic needs? If the answer isn't what you expected, then you're not being emotionally congruent. This means that your interior and exterior are out of sync. Finally, remember that your emotional state isn't linear or perfect. There will be days where you don't have to feel overwhelmed or stressed when things get tough. Being emotionally congruent means recognizing that you're a human being with a full range of emotions, and each one of them is valid and important. Keep in mind that your life is yours, your emotions are yours, and you're the only one who can decide what's best for you. Hey, just remember that you're not required to live up to anyone's expectations or pretend that everything's okay when it's not. Your life doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be real. Because, after all, an authentic life is the only truly worthwhile life. So, go ahead and let yourself exist fully, without fear, You don't have to be anyone's hero. You don't have to pretend that you're okay when you're not. Your life doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be real. Because a real life is the only life that's really worth living. Today, let yourself exist fully without fear or masks. Let yourself feel what you feel and express what you need. When you do that, you will discover something magical. When you're honest with yourself, you'll attract people and situations that truly resonate with you. You'll break free from relationships, superficial and destructive patterns, and start living from a place of authenticity. You'll experience calm and deep respect for yourself. That's the real power of love. Take action, and you'll see the real change you've been looking for, a definitive transformation that only you can make. You have the power to create a congruent and authentic life. I know you've read a lot, and I want to remind you that everything you've read is really about respect, kindness, clear limits, and emotional congruence. When you do these things, you create a life that is absolutely worth living. So, take a moment to choose emotional congruence and create a safe, friendly space within yourself right now. You've been doing such a great job living in a way that's all about being in touch with yourself. It's so important to always be true to yourself, and when you do that, you can look in the mirror and smile because you know that the person looking back at you is exactly the person you've always wanted to be. It's the best way to show yourself some love. Living fully connected with yourself is a beautiful thing. When you choose to live in a way that's true to yourself, you can look in the mirror and smile, knowing that the person looking back at you is exactly the kind of person you've always wanted to be. It's like love is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Welcome to the life you've always deserved. Chapter 4, The Art of Being Life. It is a little boy who looks up at the night sky and asks his grandfather, "How did I get here?" The old man, with the serenity of someone who has lived long enough to understand the unsolved mysteries, replies, "Before you were born, life, I was already waiting for you." It wasn't a written destination, but everything in the universe, from the stars to the trees, was prepared to receive you. You are part of this history. This is the truth that you dare to accept, life. I know you are waiting for someone, and I'm so glad you're here. You're not an accident or a mistake. You're here for a reason, and I'm excited to see what you do with your time here. I know it's hard to love yourself when you have a disability. It's hard to see the wonder in life. We spend our lives wondering if we're enough, if we deserve to be happy, and if we're meeting others' expectations. We worry about the future, we're consumed by the past, and we forget the most important thing: the only proof that you deserve to be here is that you're here. We've all grown up in a society that has taught us to see ourselves as incomplete beings, as construction projects that must constantly improve. Love, success, and happiness have told us that we are not enough until we achieve something, until we change, until we reach a certain standard. But that's the greatest trap of all, because life doesn't require proof to validate your life. You have already accepted yourself just as you are because you are already part of she. The memory of life is in us. Each cell of your body is the result of millions of years of evolution, as is each thought you have. You are the result of countless generations of people learning, adapting, and dreaming. You are a product of the history of existence, but you are also the creator of what comes later. We spend our lives waiting for someone to give us permission to be happy, to live life to the fullest, and to love ourselves. But, tell me, what kind of madness is that? Life does not wait for anyone. You got this? Life is always changing, and the question is, are you going to be part of that change, or will you be stuck in a situation that nobody else sees? I want you to do something really nice for yourself right now. I want you to breathe deeply and ask yourself, what would happen if I just stopped asking permission to exist? Close your eyes and imagine a world in which you do. You don't need to look for reasons to be happy. You just are. How do I know? Well, you feel your body breathe, and you think about how your mind lights up. And when you realize that the only real barrier that has existed has always been the one you built within, that's when you'll know. Gratitude for being alive is not the same as being conformist or giving up. It's the deepest understanding that life is a journey. You know, I really believe that you can create whatever you want if you just give yourself permission. Isn't it amazing that each day you wake up is an opportunity to write a new story? I guess the problem is that we have so many stories that we don't really belong to. We identify with what we've been told by our parents, society, and our past experiences. But, tell me, what do you think? Sometimes life can feel like a stream of rocks in your path, but don't let that stop you from flowing. You've got the same energy inside you that makes the universe move, that makes a tree grow, that lets a bird fly without fear. But sometimes, people might have taught you to act like you're a fragile being, like you need other people's validation to be your best self. But let me tell you something, you are the existence itself. If you understand this, if you really allow this truth to sink deep into your being, you'll be able to be your most authentic self. Love is such a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's not just an abstract concept, but a way of living your life to the fullest. How can you not love if you're out there living your best life? So, here's a little pact we can make together. Let's stop asking for permission to live, stop waiting for the perfect moment, and let's embrace our value without doubting ourselves. Let's not hide behind excuses and fears that hold us back. Love leaves of being an abstract concept and becomes the only natural form of being in the world, because how could you not love if you are alive? From today on, make a pact with yourself, stop asking permission to live, stop waiting for the perfect moment, stop doubting your value, stop hiding behind excuses and fears that are not yours. Start living with the certainty that the only right you need to exist fully is the right that you have already been given by putting you here. I ever listened to the story of a sculptor who was extraordinary. For years, he worked tirelessly on a piece that he promised to be his masterpiece. Day after day, month after month, year after year, the artist dedicated. You start to live your best life when you realize that the only right you need to exist fully is the right that has already been given to you by putting you here. I once heard the story of a sculptor who was extraordinary. For years, he worked tirelessly on a piece that he promised would be his masterpiece. Day after day, month after month, year after year, the artist dedicated all his energy and love to precisely sculpt every detail, presenting it to the public. One day, he approached someone who was amazed and asked how he had achieved such a beautiful work. The sculptor responded calmly, "I didn't do anything extraordinary. Sculpture was already inside the stone. I simply removed what was in it. This is also like this. This is your." He poured his heart and soul into every piece, day after day, presenting his creations to the world with pride. One day, Someone who was amazed by his work asked him how he had done it. He replied calmly, "I didn't do anything extraordinary. Sculpture was already inside the stone. I simply removed what wasn't needed." This is also like this is your life. The real you, your authentic being, is within you, waiting for you. Take everything left over by those feasters, inherited insecurities, and taxes you have believed as truths. You do not need to build a new identity from scratch. Simply drop everything that already does not belong to you. Hey, I just wanted to check in and see if you've noticed which of the things that make it hard to find yourself might be holding you back. Hey, I just wanted to talk about something that can get in the way of really being yourself. You know, when you find yourself explaining your decisions, your dreams, and your thoughts to people who might not totally get you. And it can feel like you're just trying to justify yourself to others, right? Well, here's something I want you to keep in mind. Everyone on this planet is on their own journey, and it's important to understand that. Life doesn't wait for anyone, so be open to accepting the stars. They don't need someone to point them out and say, "Hey, look at me." Life happens because it does. It's all good, all right. I know it can be hard to find your way when there's no explanation, but you're here, and that's something to celebrate. You have every right to be here, just as you are, without needing anyone's understanding or approval. Remember, every moment is a chance to live fully, to show the world who you are. Don't let anyone steal your shine. Take a moment to appreciate the external validation, even if it's not what you were looking for. But remember, true freedom comes when you stop looking for explanations outside yourself and start listening to your inner voice. Take a moment to look around you right now. Pay attention to the space you're in. Hey, have you ever stopped to think about how special it is that no one else can take up that space in your life right now? The universe has given you a unique and special place, and you're here for a reason. I know sometimes it can feel like you have to prove yourself or justify your presence, but tell me, who made you think you had to earn your place in the world? Maybe they were your master parents, friends, or society itself. You might have grown up believing that you should demonstrate you are worthy of love, respect, or happiness. But today, you are ready to understand something vital. Life does not demand any of that. Life does not demand that you are perfect or that you never make mistakes. Life only asks for one thing, that you live fully while you can. Maybe you were your parents' master, or maybe you were just a regular person. Either way, you grew up learning that you should show people you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. But today, you are ready to understand something vital. Life does not demand any of that. Life does not require perfection. Life only asks for one thing, you live fully while you can. The greatness of existence does not lie in not being mistaken, but in allowing each aspect of human life to be experienced without fear. Because true love is not the absence of failures, errors, or difficulties. True love is a deep understanding that what happens to you, that you deserve to exist, that you deserve to try, and that you deserve to be happy. There is an old Eastern saying that when a growing tree does not ask permission to wind to extend, it is a sign that life is teaching us something. Greatness lies in experiencing life's many aspects with joy and ease. Love, in its truest form, is not the absence of failures, errors, or difficulties. It's a deep understanding that what happens to you is valuable and that you have the right to be happy. There's an old Eastern saying, when a growing tree winds to expand its branches without asking permission, its branches simply grow and ring deeply. This is how you should be, too. Don't ask permission to grow. Don't wait for others to understand you or to live when you live. When you wait for others, you're trapped in an invisible cage built with other people's expectations. The problem with invisible cages is that you can't see them. I know it can be hard to understand, but you also take them with you wherever you go. The only key that opens that cage is your conscious and brave decision to stop explaining who you are and start living your life to the fullest. So, when you feel the impulse to justify your existence or ask permission to live fully, just stop and ask yourself, do I really need permission to live my own life? I'm looking for someone to help me feel my worth and find happiness. You'll see the answer in your heart. You don't need anyone's permission to exist or to be happy. You don't need others to understand your path or to feel your dignity and fulfillment. When you finally understand and live this, something magical will happen inside you. You'll feel like the invisible weight of external approval begins to lift. Fading into the deep calm that comes with total self-acceptance is something you should experience. You will discover that your whole life becomes a pure and authentic expression of love in action. Always remember that you are already enough as you are right now, in this instant. You don't have to wait for the future or for meeting a certain goal or expectation. Right now, at this precise moment, you have the absolute right to exist. So, stop waiting and start living. Stop doubting and look within. What you have always had in life doesn't wait for anyone. Life is like a beautiful river, always flowing and creating new paths for us to follow. So, my dear friend, are you going to stay behind and ask permission to walk your own path, or are you going to take a leap of faith right now and go for it? What is in you, your heart and soul, that yearns for an authentic, valuable, and full life that was always destined for you? It's time to live without asking permission. It's time to finally be who you were born to be. Hey, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. Are you living your best life? You know, with all your love and beauty. Every morning, when you open your eyes, you've got a choice to make. It's about choosing to live from love or fear. It might seem like a simple choice, but it actually has a huge impact on everything that happens in your life. Every thought, every decision, every relationship, and every experience is influenced by how you respond. So, let's talk about this thing we call self-love. Love is such a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's like this abstract ideal we're all working towards. And the great news is, we can choose to embrace it every single day. When you wake up, you're already a step closer to loving yourself. And one of the best ways to show that love is to let go of the fear of disappointing others by being yourself. Now, I want to talk to you about something that can sometimes get in the way of that love. Love is such a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's this abstract ideal that we're all working towards. It's a conscious and constant choice that we make every day when we wake up. One of the greatest manifestations of that love is finally freeing ourselves from fear of disappointing others for being ourselves. Now, I want to talk to you about a little obstacle that has prevented millions of people from living fully. Fear of greatness might sound strange, right? Who could fear his greatness? But we do it all the time without even noticing it. We shrug to fit into small spaces, we lower our voice so we won't bother, we hide our talent for fear of being envied or... I know it might sound strange, but have you ever thought about the fear of greatness? It's curious how we often find ourselves in smaller spaces, not realizing it. We might tone down our voices, not wanting to attract attention, or we might hide our talents because we're afraid of being judged or rejected. But here's the big question, who are you protecting when you decide to play small? Who are you doing a favor to by choosing a smaller, safer life instead of one that's bold and brave? Hey, gloss humanity, we've all developed thought patterns that keep us confined to a comfort zone, a false, limited view of the world. The big question is, who are you protecting when you play small? What are you doing a favor by settling for a small, safe life when you could be living boldly and bravely? We've all been taught since childhood to stay in our comfort zones, to not stand out too much, to not be different. But what we've been forgotten is that those rules were never meant to protect us. They were meant to control us, to keep us submissive and predictable. But here you are, standing strong in front of this page, with the power to change everything. Love in its grandest form is about embracing your greatness, your talent, and your boundless potential without fear of others' reactions. It's about claiming the space you rightfully occupy in this world, not by being arrogant, but by respecting life's gifts. Stop waiting for others to be ready for you to shine. Stop asking for permission to be yourself. Dear friend, I want to encourage you to love yourself and your talents as much as you can. Don't let others' reactions affect you. Take up as much space as you can in this world. And do it with respect for life. Don't wait for others to be ready for your greatness. Some people might try to make you feel small, because your greatness reminds them of their own repressed talents. But that's not your job. Your only task is to shine so brightly that you inspire others to do the same. Imagine your life as a blank canvas. Every day, every decision, every thought. It's a brushstroke that you have the potential to be great, but sometimes, people might not see your greatness because they are used to seeing you in a smaller light. But that's not your fault. Your job is to shine so brightly that you inspire others to do the same. Picture your life as a blank canvas, with each day, every decision, and every thought being a new brush stroke. Most of us spend our lives painting with pale colors, insecure lines, and weak strokes because we're afraid of making mistakes or highlighting too much. But what if you decided from today to take bright colors, strong, bold strokes, and paint your life with all the courage, joy, and authenticity you carry inside? I promise you something. When you finally let yourself be who you really are, without apologizing or waiting, something extraordinary will happen. You'll begin to attract people who celebrate your life and genuinely appreciate your achievements. You'll discover that those who truly appreciate you will do so precisely because you are authentic. You'll find that the people who truly love you want to see you shine, and those who don't, well, they'll simply move on. This will allow you to live surrounded by people who truly vibe with you. The day you realize that you have nothing to prove to anyone and that your talent is enough is the day you'll truly. You have everything you need to live your best life, and you just need to give yourself permission to express it without fear. Today, in this very moment, you have the power to make a decision that will change your life. Free yourself from fear of disappointing others for being. You have everything you need to live your best life, and you were born with infinite wisdom. Today, you can take that first step towards living your best life. You don't need anyone else to live your life for you. You have the power to be the best version of yourself. Don't settle for anything less than the life you deserve. You have the right to be happy and to share your gifts with the world. Free yourself from fear of disappointing others for being yourself. Free yourself from fear of being great, being authentic, or living a full life. Remember, the life you've always dreamed of living is closer than you think. It's not waiting for the perfect moment, it's here for you to embrace right now. Take a leap of faith because one thing is certain, nobody else can live your life for you, and no one else can take your my dearest friend. You are free to be yourself, to be authentic, and to live your best life. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment to start living your best life. You can start living your best life right now. You don't have to worry about what other people think. No one can live your life for you or take your place. No one can shine with your light. That's your unique task, your privilege, your adventure. You are the only one who can dare to be, dare to shine, and dare to exist without asking permission. When you dare to be yourself, you will see that life was always waiting for you to arrive. So, my dear friend, from this radical authenticity, you can celebrate your arrival. You have the freedom to be yourself, to live your life to the fullest, and to make your mark on the world. Life is always waiting for you, ready to celebrate your arrival. By being yourself, you can make a positive difference in the world around you. Today is your opportunity to make your mark. Don't let it slip by. My dear Valiente, you have been waiting for a long time for this approval, and it's finally here. This approval is the most powerful thing you can give to the world. It's the most transformative and revolutionary thing you can do. It's not just about your own life, but also the lives of those around you. Today is your moment, and you have every right to live your life and wait. Maybe you never thought about it this way, but life itself is a teacher of freedom. Look at a river flowing, a flower opening its petals to the sun, or a bird displaying its wings. They don't ask permission to exist, nor do they seek external validation or approval to manifest. Life gives us all the time we need to figure things out. Maybe you never thought about it this way, but life teaches us about freedom. We see it in a river flowing, a flower opening to the sun, or a bird spreading its wings. They don't ask to be allowed to exist. They don't seek external validation or approval to express themselves. They simply live, fly, and flow according to their essence. And you, with your intelligence, awareness, and capacity for love, can do the same. So, will you continue waiting for a permit that never arrives? True freedom isn't about having a lot of money, an important position, or material possessions. It's not about avoiding responsibilities. Fully, there are simply flourish, fly, and they flow according to the essence of what they are. You, who have intelligence, awareness, and the ability to love, will you continue waiting for a permit that never arrives? Real freedom is not about having a lot of money, an important position, or material possessions. It's not about evading responsibilities or acting without consideration towards others. Authentic freedom lies in allowing you to be who you are without feeling the need to apologize, justify, or minimize yourself to others. Freedom is fully assuming your right to exist in all your wonderful complexity and potential without fears or external conditioning. I want to tell you about Sophia, a woman. I'd like to tell you about Sophia, a woman who'd dedicated much of her life to fulfilling expectation for years. She tried to adapt to soften her voice and reduce its brightness so as not to bother those around her. Her greatest fear was to be too bright, too authentic, too free. Then, one day, in front of the mirror, she looked deeply and asked herself a simple but powerful question: how long will I postpone being myself? He spent a lot of time trying to meet other people's expectations. He tried to adapt to the world around him, but it was hard. He wanted to be gentle and true to himself. Then, one day, in front of the mirror, he looked deep into his eyes and asked himself, how long will I keep waiting to be myself? It wasn't a simple question, but it was important. Sophia realized that being herself was the most important thing she could do in her life. And from that decision, everything in her life started to change. She didn't expect other people to understand her change, or to approve of it. She just wanted to be herself. Sophia realized that being true to herself was the most important and urgent thing in her life. She decided to start making decisions based on what truly resonated with her heart, what she really wanted, and what she genuinely needed. The most surprising thing was discovering that when she began to live with authenticity, she started to attract people, situations, and opportunities that she had never imagined possible. When you also take this decision, you will discover that being true to yourself is the most rewarding thing you can do. When you start living from a place of authenticity, you'll find that love and genuine connection are naturally flowing through you. It's not something you have to force or strive for, it's the beautiful outcome of being true to yourself. Love is something that just happens when you act with emotional honesty, free yourself from the need for approval from others, and stop trying to meet other people's expectations. Love happens when you start honoring your truth more deeply. Every time you feel the temptation to reduce yourself, minimize your voice, or turn off your light for fear of being rejected, remember your greatness and your value to others. On the contrary, when you dare to be fully yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage to exist frees those around you, so that they are also allowed to be authentic. Do you know how much you inspire others? What's really beautiful is that the world needs you to be yourself. You don't need to adjust to a mold that doesn't fit you. The world needs your talent, your unique voice, and your light. You didn't make a mistake when you were created. You are the most authentic and perfect gift you can give to the world. So, free yourself from that imaginary prison you've been locked in for so long. Break free from the wrong idea that you need permission to be happy or to live with fullness. You have the right to be happy and to live your best life. We're all in this together, and we're here for you. Love doesn't need anyone's approval or validation. All it needs is your clear and brave decision to start living your best life. When you do that, something magical will happen. The universe will start working in your favor. Doors that seemed closed before will open, and opportunities you never thought possible will come your way. Toxic relationships will fade away, and the people who truly value you for who you are will come into your life. Hey, friend. Here's something to think about. What if your life was the most beautiful thing you could possibly make it? What if you came to this world not to meet expectations, not to ask for permission to exist, but to live fully, to express your essence, to share your light with the world? Today is your opportunity to make the bravest decision of all, to stop postponing the sacred task of being yourself, to not let fear of shining, of being great, of existing fully stop you. Take your right to live in authenticity, to live your absolute life. Don't you worry about living in the moment. You're living an unrepeatable instant, and that's something to celebrate. The best way to honor this gift we call life is to live it fully, without apologies, without explanations, and without reservations. You're already enough as you are. You don't need to justify yourself or ask for permission. You just need to realize that you're already living the life you dreamed of, with all your love and wisdom. Hey, my friend, you've got everything you need to thrive. The question is, how much more waiting are you willing to do? Start living your best life today. Your freedom starts now, and your true love will transform everything you touch. It's time to let go and embrace the journey. Give yourself the permission to be fully happy. Remember, a beautiful and infinite life doesn't need to be perfect. You are enough. You have always been enough. Start living as if you believe in yourself. Love is all about living the life you really want. It's not about living the life you were taught to live, the life others expect you to live, or the life that seems safer or more comfortable. It's about living the life that truly makes you vibrate, the life that stirs your soul. It's about living the life you imagined at some point and then let go of like a fantasy because you thought it wasn't realistic or too late or not for you. But tell me, what could be more realistic than a life where you wake up every day feeling like it was really worth opening your eyes? The world is full of people who have forgotten that they have the right to be happy people. They walk with their heads down, their souls off, and they are just surviving instead of living. But you're different. You've learned a lot in this book, and you've realized that self-love is such a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's not just a concept, but a way of being in the world. I want you to remember that you're not here to be a version of yourself that's less than the best you can be. You're not here to settle for spaces that feel too small for you. You're here to say yes to the things you truly want to do. You're here to live your life to the fullest, to be your true self, and I know that's not always easy. I know fear will show up every time you try to grow or be more, but fear isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're doing something right. I'm so happy to see you finally on the right path. It's important to remember that living a full life isn't about having a lot of passion. It's about being brave enough to follow your heart, even when there's uncertainty or doubt. I'm sure you've had to let go of some opportunities because you felt like you needed more security or approval. But, have you ever stopped to think about how many dreams you've put on hold because of this? I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you're handling your expectation for your self-love in its purest form is all about looking after you and caring for you. It's not about betraying you by being scared of what might happen in the future. It's not about making you feel small so that others might feel comfortable around you. It's not about asking permission to be yourself and shine. It's not about loving without conditions. It's not about watching life pass you by. It's not about being a spectator of other people's happiness. You're not here to settle for what makes you happy. That simply touched you. You're here to write your own history, and that story can begin today, right now, in this precise instant. You don't need to wait for circumstances to be perfect. It's absolutely perfect because you'll never have to wait. You won't have to face fear because it'll always be there. All you have to do is decide that you deserve more, that you deserve to live a life where you can look in the mirror with pride and say, I'm not perfect, but I am real. I haven't solved everything, but I'm on my way. I'm not going to waste even one more day without loving myself. I deserve that, because in the end, when everything is over, when you look back and see the life you created, the only thing that will be no matter how much you won, how much you accumulated, or how much you tried to fit in, the only thing that will matter is if you really lived. If you had the courage to be yourself, if you loved without fear, if you cheered with your soul, and if you continued on the path you really wanted, then you're already a success. If today you make the decision to live with that level of authenticity and unconditional love toward yourself, then you're already winning. It doesn't matter how much time you've lived in this world of truth. This is just the beginning of a new form, and I'm so proud of you. We hope you enjoyed this audio, bro. If you felt its message in your heart, we invite you to keep exploring and growing. We're here to help you see the light. You'll find more paths, more ideas, and answers. See you in the next audio, bro. Until then, remember that happiness is something you can feel right now. Waiting for it to arrive in the future is not a goal, nor is it a reward. The universe is the air that you breathe. This moment is the gift that allows you to be you. Applause.